Hello folks, my name is ATREOUS. In this video we gonna make an emotional future rave track, and also I am giving away the project file of this track. If you want more quality projects, so you can check my YouTube channel for it. So let's get straight into the video.
So let's start with the break first, and in the breakdown section we have break piano, reverse piano, some ambient stuff, raise bass plug which is commonly used in melodic techno, and some drum stuff and some pads. So let's start with the piano, and piano sounds like this. And basically a loud soft piano, and the processing sounds like this. Basically when it dry it sounds like this. And I just did some basic EQ, trimming off some highs, getting rid of from the lows, and attenuating some mid lows, and taking out some of the bad frequencies. And then comes our soothe, just to tame out some of the resonances, and these are the resonances I'm taking out because those were actually very harsh, and some of the oddity just to give some presence, and some of the reverb just to push back in the mix. And as you can see, it sounds pretty sick. And as from our older tracks, I've just used the reverse piano just to get some of the ambience from it. Like, it sounds like this. And along with the break piano, it sounds like this. And it's pretty much gluing everything together. And later on I have just added some of the ambiences. It's whole of a stem of the ambience, which sounds pretty sick. So yeah, and then I added my raise bass. It's pretty heavy and gritty, and the processing of it is I'm taking some of the high end, which is nothing but a grid, and some of the Saturn 2 just to give some of the compression and little bit of saturation. And here comes the techno plug, which is from Serum Big Z Sounds of 2020, and to give, and the processing of it sounds like this. Basically it sounds like this when it's dry. I added some of the OTT just to bring up some of the highs, a soothe just to get rid of the ambience resonances, Saturn 2 just to squash out the sound a bit and make it harmonically more rich, taking some of the plucky low sounds and attenuating some of the highs and getting rid of the bad frequency. And here comes the delay, which is 1/3 delay, and it's stereo, not a ping pong, because there are a lot of things going in the stereo field, so I kept it simple. And a reverb from Valhalla just to push back and make it more of the ambience from it, and to make like a melodic tech kind of plug, I added some of the pitch bends, which sounds like this. Which sounds pretty sick to me. So yeah, that was it for the breakdown section of first 8 bars, and let's see how it sounds like. It sounds pretty sick and pretty atmospheric, which I really like. added some of the transition which is made by cymbals. I found it from Kebu pack of 7, 8, 9, 10, and this break loop which I also used in the Dark. And my Heaven pad which is Angel Kiss from Nexus. And nothing much in the break, so it sounds like this. So yeah, that was it for the breakdown section, and for the build-up section I added some of the impacts, some of the boom effect, which is nothing but a really low sounding reverbed kick, and a rolling snare just to keep the momentum going towards the drop. And endless smile on the master and making it mono from the master track. So yeah, so without the leads our build-up sounds like this. Let's get into the drop now, and let's see the lead section. In the build-up, leads are getting filtered. And let's see how I made the leads. Leads are nothing crazy but consist 4 sounds, and a main sounds like this. This is the main lead, this is the supporting lead. Just to give a little bit of mid to the lead. This one just to give a little bit of stereo width. And this lead just to cover up some of the mid-lows frequencies. And let's see the processing of the leads. Leads dry sounds like this. Let's turn on the settings one by one. So I have the OTT. It sounds like this, because I think Future Rave cannot be made without the OTT. Some of the harmonic maximizer just to give a little bit of exciting stuff, because this is not more like an EQ, this is more like a EQ with an exciter. Which makes the very big changes. And here's an EQ which is heavily boosted towards the mid highs and the high end, because I felt like my leads are missing some of the fundamental frequencies for the Future Rave sound. And a ping pong delay. fruity filter just to filter out the leads in the build-up and the fill section of the lead, and Valhalla room just to give a little bit of dimension. And it's instantly changes a whole vibe towards a future rave and big anthemic sound leads. And the main thing is the pre-delay, because if you cannot set up the pre-delay tempo matching, so it's gonna be a total mess and you will not get the vibe right. So I set up to 127.3, which I felt like it's pretty much nice for me. A little bit of the side chain just to give a bit of the pumping effect, and then I use Pro C2 just to side chain my leads with a kick, and with kick it sounds like this. You can see it's pumping down the lead and giving that crazy sidechain effect, which I really liked. So moving towards the next part, which is our pad, which is nothing but a heaven pad angel case preset from Nexus. And then here comes our stabs, which is from Nexus also. I'm using a dark stab from Nexus, and it's pretty nice stab because I didn't wanted that praise stab. I wanted some of the gritty stab, which I really like for this track. So this is our kick layering. This is the hard style kick to give the grittiness to the kick, and along with the Melbourne bounce bass, it sounds like this. And then I added a psy bass loop, which sounds like this. And let's see the processing of the psy bass loop. I did nothing but and added an OTT, and I uses some of the EQ to get rid of the low end and to boost some of the high mid frequencies, and then Pro L2 just to retain the even volume throughout the drop, so I didn't get any clipping issues. So let's see the bass sound. This is our bass sound, and my sub bass is from Spire. It's time capsule sub bass. Let's see the processing of it. Bass dry, it sounds like this. So yeah, it's more of the mid bass kind of sound, and I added a saturation, a harmonic maximizer just to bring some of the really low stuff, and then I EQ'd and I boosted some of the fundamental frequencies of to get the bass very boomy. I added F2 and F1, more like +3 +4 dBs, and with a kick it sounds like this. I have one more layer which is kind of bringing up the low mids of the bass. So this is the bass. It's actually a crunch bass, and it sounds like this, taking out some of the lows and reducing some of the highs. Then I added a kickstart, then I added an OTT just to bring some of the more grittiness of it. And this is from Silent, it's from the pack, I don't know from where I got this, and with side bass and short bass it sounds like this. Which is setting up the whole vibe for me. Then I added some of the rides, some white noise stuff just to fill up the frequency bands, crowd noise just to give a little bit of more ambience towards the arena stuff. Drop claps, rides, downlifters, and with stabs sounds like this. And I also added some of the close hi-hats just to give a bit more of a techno feel. I added a reverse kick to give a huge impact, which I really like. And our drop sounds like this. So yeah, and in the second section of the drop, I've used this loop just to get the momentum going. And with everything, it sounds like this. And the bass is shifting from F to A to G to D. Everything sounds complementing to each other. And let's see the fills, how I made the fills. Basically I use from the sample packs. It's just a big roomy kind of snare, and then a sub bass and small build-up stuff. Drop is completed now. In the second part, I did nothing crazy but added a hands up movement in the second section, which sounds like this. With a rolling snare, and everything sounds just perfect to me. Actually, I made everything on top of this vocal, which I got from a remix stem.
I'm ready to tell you, but are you ready to listen?
Let's see the processing of it.
Going to judge me, or are you?
Let's see how I process this. So basically it sounds dry like this.
I'm ready to tell you, but are you?
Having a lot of high-end frequency, which I really don't like. And so I attenuated the high-end frequencies of this region and boosted some of the 400 hertz, which gives the body to the vocals. And then I added a compression, which is very heavy compression.
I'm ready to tell you, but are you?
To sit perfectly in the mix. And then I added a little bit of plate reverb just to give a little bit of ambience.
I'm ready to tell you, but are you ready to?
And then I used my Verb Suite Classic reverb, and it sounds just perfect.
I'm ready to tell you, but are you ready to listen? Are you going to judge me, or are you feeling the same as I do?
This was it for this track, and together with the vocals it sounds like this.
I'm ready to tell you, but are you ready to listen? Are you going to judge me, or are you feeling the same as I do? From the tip of my lips to back of my tongue, thought of it turns me on, and I wanna shout the top of my lungs. We're too right to be wrong, so let me love you if you feel the same as I do. If you don't, I don't.
So this was it for the mixing and the arrangement part. Let's see how I mastered this track. This track before the mastering sounds like this. So this endless smile was for the automation purposes. So main thing started from this. I cut off the very unhearable sounds from after 1800, after 18,000 hertz, and then I cut off the frequencies below 30 hertz because I really cannot hear them. I did some of the boosting part. I boosted 500 region just to give some of the body, and then I used just the mid-side EQ just to give more stereo widening to the track. I boosted high end, I boosted high mids, I boosted low mids, I boosted the low end in the mono section. Then I added limiter just to make sure that everything after 6 dB, minus 6 dB is everything going to cut off. So yeah. Not big change, just to make sure my track is dynamically even. And then I added this plugin which is API 2500, which is a mastering compressor which I really like, and I always used it in all of my tracks. I use this preset Lane Motor Mastering Glue, and which is works perfect in my every song. It really brings out the character of the track and gives it vintage tone to it. And then I added this Oxford inflator, which is perfect for mastering, which is more like an exciter, and this is affect the track which is having the sound of Oxford inflator, and this curve is actually a frequency balancing curve. So if you going upward, so it's going to brings more of the highs from the track, which I thought that my track is lacking, so I boosted towards the more of the upward side. And if you go down, your track sounds more darker. It's perfect for mastering. And then I added ozone imager, where I'm increasing the highs from the track and also keeping in mind that my track retains the mono compatibility. So whenever you increase the stereo signals of the track, so make sure they don't clash in the mono signal. So I always check them while hitting this mono button, and if you can see, it's not going crazy, like not going out of phase. And then my second band, I increased like 29% of the stereo section, and you can see it's not going very heavy in the. So this was the third band. I also increased it just to give more of the stereo width in the low mid section. And last band from 0 to 133 Hz, make sure that everything goes mono under the 150 or 130 Hz. So yeah, and this was the last limiter just to bring up the gain to make sure that your track is perfect for streaming services. So I'm boosting 5 dBs of the track and limiting at 0.30 dBs of the negative, because it's always nice to have a little bit of headroom whenever you send your track to the labels and uploading section, because they don't get a lot of compression of the conversion rate of the streaming services. So yeah, this was it for the track, and let's see how it's all sounds together.
I'm ready to tell you, but are you ready to listen? Are you going to judge me, or are you feeling the same as I do? From the tip of my lips to back of my tongue, thought of it turns me